Welcome to Money Conversations with KJ. KJ is a lifelong entrepreneur who's made a lot of money, lost a lot of money, and found his way back again. If you're looking for a sterile how-to, you're in the wrong place. KJ and his guests will walk you through real-life situations told by the people who live them, and they are as messy as they are inspiring. Each episode will offer lessons learned, advice on how to replicate successes and avoid pitfalls, and a new perspective to power your financial literacy. Far from a one-size-fits-all, this podcast can help you build a roadmap to your personal promised land. Milk and honey for some, whiskey and steak for others, and remind you that you're not alone on this journey.
Hello. Welcome back to the show number 2. Today I'm sitting with a really good friend of mine that I've known for a really long time, Mr. Harvey Perry. How you doing this morning, Harvey?
Doing awesome.
Awesome. Listen, really happy and excited that you're here. Your story's incredible. I think everybody needs to hear it. Harvey and I have been friends for probably 40 years.
Yes.
Long time. And we watch each other kind of go up and down in life and maintain friendship because he's such a sweetheart of a guy. So Harvey, today I want to go over a few things. I know that you sat in my financial literacy workshop a few times learning things. Talk to me about what was your biggest takeaway sitting in those workshops and listening to me teach the other people?
The most important thing to me was that because of my age, currently 55 right now, and that it's never too late to make some changes in your life and make some choices. And, life is not over,
No, I 100% agree. It's never too late because we wake up every day and we go do what we need to do in life. You got your job or you're an entrepreneur and I'm an entrepreneur and you're an entrepreneur yourself. So it's never too late. People should never give up no matter how old they are, right? We're in our mid-late 50s right now. But I talk about in the workshop, I'm going to lay it out for you guys out there, 12 different topics. And what I talk about out there is mindset. I talk about goals. I talk about tradition, then money. I talk about the rule of 72, credit, which everybody really gets a big one out of that. Savings, investing. I talk about taxes. Another big one that we like to talk about is asset protection, which is vital. Then we talk about retirement. And then most importantly, at the end, an action plan, right? Because a lot of people are out there, Harvey, as you are, and always trying to absorb as much information as you can. But unless you take action, Harvey, what happens?
That's the thing. You have to take the first step, because if you don't take the first step, you're going to be stationary and you get content in life. And next, life goes by. And one thing you can't get back is time.
You're absolutely right. Time is our most valuable asset, 100%. Talk to me about what kind of a mindset shift did you have after coming to my workshop?
Well, the first thing that I realized, like I said, because of my age and actually growing up here in Vegas and I guess living the Vegas lifestyle, you make a lot of money and you spend a lot of money and you look up, you're in your 40s and your 50s and you have not accomplished the things that you want in life. And most people get content and just relax and believe life is over. And upon attending the workshop, gave me a jolt. It really shook my cage. And, I started pursuing, other things as, self-education. I actually started a small cleaning business shortly after the first class. So, I was really inspired, man, to, just do better.
Well, thank you. That means a lot to me. And that's my whole purpose when I was doing those workshops, because they were free, right? I don't charge for them. And I'm doing this podcast. This is free, right? So you had a mindset shift because early in your life, right? We all go to school, we get out of school. Share with me, who talked to you about money? Did anybody ever try to educate you? Hey, Harvey, do X, Y, Z with your money. You should do this. You should do that. Anybody talk to you about that?
Not at all. As a pursuing, trying to gain financial, in life, it's not told. And as I grew up and I started talking to people outside of my immediate family, I understood that it was not my parents' fault because their parents did not teach them and show them about financial education and financial literacy.
Can you remember how far back when you kind of realized, man, I better figure this out, and started to poke around? How old do you think you were when you figured out that I need to figure this out?
I probably was, I believe, 27 years old when I first started my own business. And, I just did not want to work for anyone. Of course, I've worked for multiple people, multiple companies here in the state of Nevada, but I always wanted to do my own thing and have my own freedom. And so I probably was like 27 years old, and when I first started my first cleaning company.
And so when you did that, and you, okay, like anybody else, new business, you struggle in the beginning, and then you start to make money. What did you end up doing with your money?
Not the right thing, to be honest with you. Because the more money you make, the more bills you create. Especially if you don't have that financial education. I get in conversations with people all the time. They talk about hitting the lottery. I mean, hell, they can't budget $300. They can't budget $3,000. All of a sudden, they believe that you're going to wake up, $50, $60 million, that you're going to know what to do. And that's not true. It just doesn't happen that way.
You're exactly right. A lot of people do believe that, right? That's just the big pie in the sky dream that they do. But I want to go a little deeper. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that kind of went down that same road, right? Young entrepreneurs like, man, I don't want to go trade time for money and work my butt off and get this small check at the end of the week or bi-weekly or what have you. And you decided, as I did, I think I was 22 when I first figured out, you know what? No boss for me. I'll be my own boss. Thank you. But then, we've both made a lot of money in our careers. And for me personally, oh hell, I 20 years, all I thought I needed to do, the more money I make, my lifestyle grew. Right. You saw my lifestyle. Right. I mean, I built me a big mansion house and just lived great. But I want to know what you were doing, and some of the people out there maybe can parallel what you did right back there when you started actually to make some money, other than like lifting your lifestyle, and talk to me about the lifestyle when you started to lift it. What were your aspirations? Because you weren't thinking about, hey, I need to put money away. I need to start investing. What was your mindset? What were you doing?
Well, at that time, I was very careless. I tell people, man, I probably gave away and lost more money than people have made in their life because I was really making some money, started my own business. Then I started doing security work, private security work, dealing with a lot of wealthy people, came into Vegas. And so like I said, the more money I made, the more money I spent, as a gambling and, investing in materialistic things, such as jewelry and fur coats. I came through the Mike Tyson area, the Sugar Ray Leonard, the Caesar's Palace. So, I didn't have anyone tap me on my shoulder and say, hey, young man, buy dirt. I just didn't surround myself around those people. So I partied. The more money I made, I'm no drugs and things like that, but just hanging out, spending money, and just actually, man, I took care of a lot of people, helping them out financially as of buying materialistic things. The crazy part about it, when I first got my first credit card at 18 years old, the first thing I did is I called my best friend, and we went to a jewelry store, and I bought him a gold chain, a watch, and bracelet. And we're both 55. We just had this conversation the other day, and he laughed at me, and I said, hell, you never pay me back still.
That's funny.
So it's really hard, man. It's really tough when you don't have anyone in your immediate circle telling you, and let alone showing you, but even telling you what you need to do. And, we have this thing that we want the right now. We don't see the future and what it could be, so I was lost and, just hanging out.
And you know what? That still happens today. Would you agree?
Oh, no question.
I mean, you got your 25, 28, 30, whatever year olds, and they're in the same mindset. They're like, I'm living for today, man. I just made me a bag of money. I'm buying this, I'm buying that. they're not buying the right things. Just picture and imagine. Again, you and I both grew up here, and the cost of dirt back in the day, buying a piece of land, sitting on it, man, you'd be sitting somewhere different today, right?
Right, exactly.
But again, we talked before about, man, we are the 5 people we hang with.
Exactly.
You are. Everybody out there, you need to check your inventory of your friends. I know you and I had this conversation just, again, we've had it multiple times, like 6 months ago, and you called me and you said, "Hey, Kev, I cleaned house." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Remember we talked about you are the 5 people you hang around with?" I said, "Yeah." You go, "I cleaned house. I want to make sure I'm hanging around the right people." Let's talk to the people out there. How important really is that lesson? Because, you know a lot of people, but talk to me about that lesson.
It's very important that you surround yourself around people who bring energy, positive energy, and bring a certain level of value to the table. And by being here and growing up with people that I've been knowing all my life, I had to look in the mirror and say, hey, I need to do what's best for me. Like at the beginning of the year, everyone's always talk about who they're deleting off of their social media. And I tell people the first person you should delete is yourself. You should delete your old way of thinking. And you need to be honest and look in your mirror and be honest and say, hey, is it working for me? The people you're interacting with, even the way you speak. I tell people to change your world, you got to change your words. You just got to put yourself in a very positive situation for yourself. And people got to understand the word, what's in the word selfishness, self. So you really have to care about yourself and you have to isolate to elevate. It's okay to be alone. What grows from the dark? Beautiful roses, you know what I'm saying? Beautiful flowers. And, we find ourselves in situations where we have to interact with people. We have to go here. We have to go there. And, for me, I just put myself in a situation and I just said, hey, I'm investing myself as seminars, reading books and, just surrounding myself around people who were moving in the same direction, and that's the most important thing. It's okay to be a copycat if you copying the right cat.
Exactly. So this whole mindset thing just really comes all the way full circle, right? It's funny how at this age, you and I, we can reflect and look back. But when you're your 25 or 28-year-old self, you don't really have very far to look back. You know what I mean? And so whenever we can do what we're doing today, which is hopefully giving a lot of great value to some people out there that may be, hey, you know what? I need to look in the mirror. I need to check up, right? I need to take inventory.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you take inventory now on a regular basis. And another thing that I really love about you is you really got spiritual and super about healthy, right? You're a 55-year-old guy. You look 22, right?
Thank you.
Your shape is amazing. You just keep your health amazingly. Unfortunately, I got a lot of gray hair and I start to look my age, but you look amazing. Let's turn that into, so your mindset, but your mindset was hard to probably shift at that early age because I want to talk about tradition, right? What you learned from family members, whether it's your siblings, your parents, your aunts, your uncles, right? I think that really helps shape people in the early years and starts to have people become who they are. And as you become the young adult, you have to kind of look back. So talk to me about tradition. I'm sure there's a lot of great positive things your family has taught you, but what are some of the things you wish they could have taught you?
Well, it's called core belief, and that's passed down. And if no one in that time has stepped out the box and says, hey, I'm going to create this, I'm going to do that. The majority of my family, core belief was go to work, pay bills, and die. And at an early age, I realized that's not me. That's not me. I can't do that. I'm not gonna just, I'm not knocking anyone working for 30, 40 years and, straight with one company or period, but for me, I felt that I had to do something different. I wanted to be someone else and leave an example for my great grandkids that I will probably never even meet. So, the tradition of me growing up was, it was very simple. I saw it every day. Mom left at a certain time, came back at a certain time. Dad left at a certain time, came back at a certain time. And my dad worked at one place for 30 years. And, he talked about the same son of a bitch every day he came home.
Right, right.
So it's just this one coworker that, and I was bouncing around from job to job. And my dad said, hey, man, keep one job because you're not going to like everyone. And so you leave this job, you go to another job, and you're not going to like a person over there. So, but, Pops had a hustle, on the weekends. He mowed grass. He was a mechanic, so he did a lot of work and things of that nature. But that's what I picked up. My uncle worked at the same place 30, 40 years. He did carpet on the weekend. That's what I picked up. That's what I saw.
So, which is not, like you said, not a bad lesson. They had the security, and that's why people stick it out with their jobs. They'll stick out that 10, 15, 20, 30 years for the security of that check because they know they got to take care of the family. They got to feed them, pay the mortgage or rent, and just it's basic. And then you do a side hustle. But what do you, in your experience, what happens with that side hustle money? What do they do with that?
Well, back in the day in my parents' era, my father, he gave his check to my mom. So he had to have that side hustle.
Right. Got to keep mama happy.
Yeah, you got to keep mama happy, So, in that era, like I said, they worked hard and, and growing up, I seen people birthday, they, man, I thought today was your birthday. I was like, yeah. Oh, you came to work? My father went to work on his birthday.
Yeah.
You wake up and you sneeze. I seen my dad sweating. I don't know what his fever was. He went to work.
Right.
So I definitely got that work ethic from my father, my grandfather, and my uncle, man. They worked. And like I said, I used to listen to them. I used to pay attention because my mind is like a sponge, In today's world, they call it ear hustling. So I did a lot of that growing up. And I always wanted my own thing. I always wanted my name. I just wanted to see it, Harvey Perry, president, CEO, things of that nature. So that fueled me to, to start doing my own thing. And, I made a lot of mistakes because I actually jumped into business without even understanding how business works, as dealing with taxes and things like that. So I've made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, learning curves. I always say it's okay to fail, right? As long as we learn from our failures. And so I've learned over my career is, hey, I didn't mind failing. Yeah, let's fail. I just learned. I'm not going to do that again. And I also like learning from other people's failures. Again, I'm the same, right? I would watch. Oh, that guy did that. That didn't work out. I ain't doing that. You know what I mean? And so as long as we all can learn from our little failures as we're going through life, don't beat yourself up. Because failures are a good thing. They actually are a really, really good thing when you fail at something, as long as you learn something from it. So the people who fail and don't learn anything, you lost. You lost. But you don't lose at failure if you learned something from it. So it sounds like, okay, you were the typical kid growing up, watching your parents work hard, come home, get a little side hustle going. What do you think you've learned today? Again, you always got that ear open. I know you, to make a couple extra bucks. That do you think it would be advisable for the folks that are out there and they've got their jobs and which pay just enough for the lifestyle to sustain, but they go get a side hustle, right? And no one's talking to them about doing what? Investing. Talk to me about when did the light bulb of investing really go off in your head and you said, you know what? Let's get my money to work instead of me. When did that light bulb go off?
Actually, a few years ago, but I've always knew about it. I mean, because I grew up in the inner city, but I was blessed to have friends who parents owned hotels, casinos. So I've seen wealth, like when I drove limousines for over 20 years, I was never starstruck. I mean, because I've grew up in Vegas and I've seen, how the wealthy live. And it just inspired me. And I was like, how did they get that? How did they do that? So it's really true, man, that you have to pay yourself first. Say if you're making 100,000 in today's world, most people, if they're making 100, they living like they make 150, 175. So I've learned that, I'm gonna try to invest at least 25% of, my net income. I don't live beyond my means. I've done that in the past. So, I understood that I had to put something away, and understanding mutual funds, or Roth IRAs, even playing the stock market right now. By being in Vegas, I recently got into Republic Services, things of that nature.
Right.
Bought some stock. So
Well, you're absolutely right. So for the people that are out there and you find yourself in your, early 50s or what have you, and you haven't really done what you're supposed to do, you just mentioned that now you're putting away 25%. Well, you're forced to put away that much versus if you would have started back in your early 20s putting 5% away, right? You today, with the rule of 72 compounding would apply, you'd be sitting on a big fat nest egg, right? So, but it's, again, as we talked in the beginning, it's never too late, and you always have to start sometime, right? What do you think at this point, because you're an entrepreneur and like me, I mean, I work because I love to work. I still need to work. What are your aspirations in investing? What do you really want to get into? Where do you want to park money? Where do you want to see your money grow?
Definitely into real estate. Especially, again, I always going to go back to being here in Vegas, and my parents' house. I think they paid $26,000 for it, and right now, as is like $165.
Right.
So people are always going to need somewhere to live and stay. Most people who are successful from entertainment or sports, one of the things that they get involved in is real estate. Most people come back to real estate, to be honest with you, and just my opinion, Oprah's, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. Because out there, people either go down the path of trying to become wealthy using real estate as the vehicle, or they go down the path of the stock market, right? And there are some people that will dabble in both, but usually you'll pick one or the other, and then down the road you may start doing both. And they're both great ways, but either way, direction you want to go, we have to educate ourselves on how to play that game, right? Just like I share that, financial literacy is nothing more than learning the rules of money in life. And like any game we ever played in our life, at 6 or 7 years old, you learn how to play checkers, and then you learn how to play Monopoly, and you can't beat your opponent if you don't truly understand that game. Would you agree?
Correct.
And so that's the same thing in life, and unfortunately in school, right? When you get through high school, you don't learn it. And I even talk to a lot of educated people that have degrees and this, that, and the other thing, but they still didn't learn financial literacy.
Right.
And it's not how much money you make, right? It's how much money you keep. That's what Warren Buffett says. It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. And then as far as keeping that money and putting that money to work, right? So here we are finding yourself, man, I got to start to put away close to 25% because now time isn't on our side, that we're in our 50s. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%.
But it's not too late, right? I want the people out there to understand, one, you're not giving up. And you already mentioned how many people that start to get at this age, and if they haven't made it, they're like, now I'm just waiting that 6 or 7 years till I hit 62 and start get that monthly government check, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't even think about that stuff. I'm not dependent on none of that.
No.
And people got to understand, those who are listening, man, this is a great time to be alive. Because let's go back to our childhood, the technology. You can Google anything. You can learn how to do anything right now. I mean, as we sit here, we are putting ourselves in position to help others, being transparent and being honest, because like I said, man, this is a great time to be alive with the technology and, to learn anything you can learn, but you have to be willing to learn.
Well, you got to be willing to take action, right? I 100% agree with you. I think right now the opportunities that these 15, 17, 20-year-old kids have because of technology, right? And a lot of them are doing it. There's some YouTube kids out there that are in their teens making hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Because they'll do something and the other teens follow them. And the minute you build an audience, guess what happens?
Bam.
Yeah. You start making money. And so there's a lot of people making a lot of money. And so I share that with people. There's always, I'm always a big advocate of education. If you have the means and you have the strive to go to college because you want to be an engineer or a doctor or whatever, go do it, right? Absolutely, if that's what you want to do. But the opportunities that kids have today compared to where you and I grew up, and if we want to talk on the phone, you better go find a phone booth or go knock on someone's door. Can I use your phone? I got to call mom. I'm going to be late.
All right.
You know what I mean? And parents never knew where we were. They're like, where? I don't know. They had to be home by dark. That's all I know. But better be here by the time those streetlights come on.
That's right.
Or we're going to get some whoopings, right? So, yeah, I completely agree. The opportunities out there today. And so it doesn't have to be only for the youth, right? So for some of the folks that are out there thinking, man, I didn't do the right things with my money for, all these years. And here I am, 50 or whatever age, like it's too late for me. Harvey, is it too late for them?
It's never too late to be great.
No, never too late to be great, because the opportunity for that 18-year-old is the same exact opportunity for that 60-year-old.
Right.
To get out there and, like you said, create that side hustle. So if you're still 60, punching somebody's clock, you actually have more of an opportunity because you got 60 years of experience of something to give value to people that can generate some more money and actually build up that whatever that lifestyle nest egg is that you're looking for, right? But as I look, and I know the statistics right now, statistically, they say that you need about $2.4 million to retire at age 60 in order to finish the race, so to speak, right? Which, listen, who saves $2.4 million in today's world? Very, very few people.
Very rare.
I've talked about, I'm a big believer in retirement isn't about how much money I can save, but how much money my money can go make and generate money. To me, retirement is about income. My money making money.
Right.
I don't need that $2.5 million. Will I have it? Yeah. I mean, I know I'm going to have it, but I want, it's going to work, because if I'm constantly filling the bucket, right, instead of just having a bucket with the hole in the bottom, that bucket will go dry at one day if you don't replenish it on a regular basis. So it's about investing, getting returns on your money, and keeping that flow going, right? So it's not too late, though. It's definitely not too late with the opportunities are out there because of technology, because of YouTube, because of podcasts like this. There's just people monetizing everything out there, and quickly. It could take a lifetime to save $2.5 million. We're seeing 18-year-olds do it in 24 months.
Right.
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 It's amazing. So, what was some of the other takeaways at the workshop that you are now sharing with people? Because I know you love to share knowledge.
Well, one of the most important thing is I always focus on the way I think. The mindset. We'll go back to the mindset and energy. Even the energy that you showed, in the classroom, and value. That's one thing that I walked away from is value. What value does someone brings to the table? My thing is, how can I help you? How can you help me? And that's one of the main things that I learned from attending the workshop, as of respecting time, because we can't get time back. And it just motivates me to keep going. And I wake up every day and I say, how can I help somebody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Same thing. I wake up every day. I have my gratitudes. I'm grateful for everything, from the beautiful, awesome wife I have to just waking up to a nice day. There's no fire in our backyards, right?
Right.
And so we got to be grateful for all the little things in life. And I think in having gratitude, and I remember learning that lesson a while back from Tony Robbins. Like the more you're grateful of the smallest things, you don't need to be grateful for the big things. You really need to be grateful for the small things, right? And you're very active in health. I mean, I see you and your eating habits are pretty amazing. And you're actually, as you see, you're wearing your shirt today, you know, the High Power Fitness, which is really cool because High Power initials HP, which are actually your initials, Harvey Perry. So that's a really cool shirt there. So I know you're going to go out there and help people and give some good value to them and their eating habits and their exercising and cleansing their minds, you know. How has the reception been when you're out there? Because I know you're a different person today than 10 years ago, as far as you want to go out there and help people. How are people receiving it?
You know, with social media, I've learned, I went through the stage, you know, you post something, you'll go back every 15 minutes and see if someone likes it. But it doesn't work that way. People see it, man. People see it. They see what you're posting. They know what you're on. I mean, I was in a situation at a little function, and this guy, he was pretty tipsy. And he just, hey, man, you really changed my life, man. You know, he was a little tipsy, but he was just telling me about how him and his wife would see my post, and they did the first step. Action. They took action. They bought some bikes. And I said, hey, man, now you got to get on them.
Right.
You know, but, you know, man, I do understand that I'm a walking billboard. I am my own brand. I'm, you know, 55 years old. I turned 55 in July. And the most important thing to me is to be a light and an influence to others. You know, and God has blessed me and has put me in a position where I can help others, you know, and I'm not telling people to be vegan and things like that. I just, you know, I talk to people and I love helping people because I love them. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if I've never met you before. I love you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just how I am, you know, and just to see people flourish and just grow in life. And it's a domino effect, man. I mean, because if you got a healthy mind and a healthy spirit and your mind gets open, you know, you're going to start to listen to other people and learn things and say, hey, you know, I got to better myself. I tell people, I went on a retreat and I told people I was going on a spiritual, nutritional, financial retreat. In order, those were the most important thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not holier than thou, but I do believe in the Most High. And I just wanted to be better spiritually, nutritionally, and financially. Because, you know, people concentrate so much on leaving, you know, they say wealth. I believe we need to focus more on knowledge, you know, because knowledge, you know, once you educate yourself and definitely on, you know, financial literacy, you know, I think it should be implemented in middle school, man. You know what I'm saying? My daughter, my youngest daughter's turned 11 years old. And I, you know, my Capital One credit card, I got her one. Her name is on it just for her to see it, to do transactions, you know, and then when she asks questions now, you know, she was afraid, but now she's asking me questions about finances. And, you know, I have a cleaning company called Savannah Cleaning Services, and that's her name, Savannah. So I've taken her to work many times, you know, to show her what Dad does, you know, and so I'm planting the seed.
Absolutely. And I think that's great that you take her because she needs to understand two things. That one, money isn't easy to come by, right? You have to go to work for it, and your cleaning business, which is hard work, right? It's physical hard work that yourself and your employees do. And for her to be able to come and visually see, you know, what Dad does, like you said, you're planting those seeds. Like, man, Dad works hard to bring home that money so I can eat and have a roof over my head, right? And that's awesome that you're doing that, and then slowly teaching her about the money, right? And the credit cards understanding, and credit cards. If we want to talk to someone like a Susie Orman or especially a Dave Ramsey, who 100% don't agree with any of us having credit cards. I differ from that a little bit because you'll hear the phrase, people will say, credit cards are bad. I'm like, what are you talking about? A credit card's a piece of plastic, right? Credit cards aren't bad.
It's the misuse.
People are bad, right? They don't use them responsibly. But we live in a world where we all need and have to have credit. You're not going to be able to buy a car, a home, get good insurance rates. There's so many things that are leveraged on our credit score that we have to. And so the fact that if you're teaching your daughter via a credit card, right? One, this is not your money. So don't spend it like you already earned it because it's not yours. And you talked earlier that you learned that lesson the hard way when you got your first credit card, and then you just start buying stuff for a friend of yours like it was your money. and it's not. The credit cards are there for us for emergencies, really, or convenience. I'm not going to carry a pocket full of cash,
Right.
or what if I get rolled over? I taught my daughter, use your credit cards to pay all your bills. Leave your debit card at home, right? Because if you lose your wallet or someone steals it or something like that, that's not your money. They just stole somebody else's money. Don't worry about it. But if someone gets a hold of your debit card and drains your account, it's gone.
Right.
It's gone. The bank's going to say, I'm sorry. They ain't going to give you your money back. So teaching those lessons to your daughter early is okay. Just make sure we teach them to her responsibly, right? They're there for convenience and to build your credit, right? And that's why my daughter at 20 years old was able to buy her first condo all on her own, right? Her own money, her own credit, everything. I just did the transaction as a real estate agent. So listen, again, man, these are great stories that you just shared with some of the people out there. I'm sure they parallel a lot of people that are out there sitting at around your age and, plus or minus 5 years thinking, man, is it too late? And you're here to tell them what, Harvey?
It's not too late to be great. I'm so excited, man. I wake up every Monday through Friday. I wake up between 3 and 4 o'clock a.m. And I'm so excited. And, I do my meditation. I thank the good Lord above and, just sit there and think, and I read and I listen to self-help stuff. I was actually, it's amazing when you called me. I actually, about a week and a half ago, I went over the class, I'm washing dishes. I got my loudspeaker and I'm just, and I'm listening, man. I'm just retaining stuff, going back, and that's the thing is we have to make time. No one can tell me that they can't take 30 minutes out their day to do something directly to help them. And that's what I do. I take 30 minutes in the morning to an hour, 30 minutes in the afternoon, and, I'm a sports guy and people ask me a lot about sports and I'm like, and I just said, they'll call me and say, man, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm reading, I'm studying, I'm meditating, things of that nature, man, because there's so much knowledge out there, and, with the YouTube and, Google, I'm just so excited to be alive right now, so.
Great. Well, listen, Harvey, I want to thank you for coming out today, sharing your story. Guys out there, I'm sure a lot of you can relate and maybe do some things. Maybe it's time to clean house, right? Your friends or something. But again, I just want to thank you for coming out and sharing your stories. And I know we're going to be friends for another 40 years, unless even if you move away, it doesn't even matter. Because a lot of times we don't see each other for maybe a year in person, but we talk on the phone. We always reach out to each other. Hey, what's going on? So thanks for coming out, sharing your story. Hopefully a lot of people out there got some real great value on it. Listen, if you did, some good value. Again, I'm going to do this podcast every week. And you're going to get good value from everybody that I bring in here. So listen, subscribe to my channel here. Come out and take a listen, whether it's for 10 minutes or the whole podcast, whatever you can, okay? I'm going to be releasing this podcast every Wednesday. So every Wednesday, you can count on me having something out here to listen to other people's stories and get inspired and learn some things and some good takeaways. All right. So again, if you have any questions, you want to make any comments, you guys can all reach me at kevin@fintell.com, which is FINNTELL.com. That's the email. You can send me a message or a note. All right. You all take care. Hey, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Really enjoyed making all these episodes for you. Remember, we're just having conversations with people's journey with money and the things they did right with it, the things that did wrong with it, and how did they really come about getting their mindset with money. So every episode's different. We all have a good takeaway from them. So do me a favor, hit the like button, smash the like button, and subscribe to my channel because every episode that I do is going to be different as all our journeys are different. So you guys take care, and we'll talk to you next week.